Logan. I missed everybody, man. I was like, I'm gonna jump on here and do a live. I just miss everybody. Man, I can prove it. I got you. Man, I don't have to lie, man. You think? Look, Logan will tell you, Raymond. Logan will tell you, man. I've been around. I got. I'm solid, man. I have it. I have the licenses, brother. I could probably pull it out my pocket right now. I could probably pull out my different state licenses or whatever. They give you it looks like a diploma. Well, you just look at that. Yeah. We are actually live on multiple platforms right now. You do clean work. Never seen that around here. Love that guy. Wish I had a warm air license. Would you just look at it? Just look at it. That I do. I like that. That's a pretty funny guy too. Uh, I appreciate you saying that, man. I take a lot of I take a lot of pride in my work to make it look really good. I'm a perfectionist, man. I can't help it. Like if you work for me, either you like it or you hate it. Um, because if I'm on the job, like it, you're in for it today. you know. Um, I've seen so many different things happen, and I don't want them to repeat. So I don't like for those type of things to go down. And I've seen, the code here is that you have to have one safety switch, and on like a horizontal unit in an attic, and I put three. Some people say that that's too much, that they don't. I know for sure that all three have their own reasons, and you need all three. So some people like to pay for it. Believe it or not, people really will pay for it. If they know that you're, let me just say this. People, what I've seen as a trend, people have, they want to pay people. They got money to pay people, and they want to pay for the best quality work. I don't know what it is. Like when they see a craftsman or a tradesman or something, and they know that they're very skillful at it, people are highly sought after, and they're willing to pay for it. That's the only way I can say it. If you're in a business right now and you're sitting there like I can't get the job because my price is too high, I can tell you I routinely get jobs that my price is higher than other people. Routinely, like often, like on a daily. Um, and that's just what it is. So I hope that people don't fall into that because it's really a trap. A warm air license. I'm looking at multiple screens here, so y'all bear with me. Super fancy this evening. Man, I got the flashlight out there in the shop. Yeah. Hey, Lucas, I tell you what, my wife's gonna go out there and get it, and we're streaming on multiple platforms. This is the first time I've done that, so you pay the extra so you don't pay in damages. Hey, I'll tell you like this: as far as HVAC goes, it's just cheaper to pay to do it right the first time. If you think a good HVAC guy is expensive, you should try a bad one. Consider that. In my experience, every time I try to give people a deal, more of a pain they are. One thing for sure, man, this is no good deed goes unpunished. If you're thinking you're doing yourself a favor by cutting your paycheck, you're probably not. Just my experience. That is true. 100% agree, man. Take it from someone that's been doing it a long time. I've made all the mistakes that you could possibly make. Hey, take all the stuff out of it. We got the flashlight right here, man. For the people that's on YouTube right now. We got about 3 right now, Matt. Yeah, it's got a bunch of stuff in it. We actually had a lot more people working for us. over the winter we kind of downsized a little bit. Logan, yeah, we actually have a pretty good bit of followers on. We got like 12,000 over there.
Did you tell Logan that our son's
Yeah.
name is Logan?
Yeah, my son's name is Logan. I trust me, an HVAC business owner for the last 8 years and still learning every day. Adam, that's how long I've been doing the trade also. They are hard to come by these days. Hey, if y'all don't mind, y'all can hit the like and follow. I'll do any kind of HVAC videos y'all want. If you're wanting to do more troubleshooting, you wanting to do skits. Me and my wife do a lot of skits, a little comedy stuff. So, yeah. Hey, I appreciate the lightning bolt, Heroes in Plumbing. Thank you.
You really see it very good.
Lucas, are you still here on YouTube? They're hard to come by these days. For the people that's on YouTube just asking about the light, I guess I'll pull it forward so that way they can see it. Here, I'll try to get where y'all can see it a little bit better.
The decals are coming out.
Oh yeah, man, it's no problem. What are the most helpful apps or resources you use on the daily job? Actually, look, so I'm using Household Pro, and I have hey Logan, hey man, you know I'm the bubble wrap champ. I love bubble wrap. For anyone that's out there, I want to get a shout out to Reflectix and CoverTech because they make a great product, and I've talked with them and their marketing people. They make some really good stuff, man, and I really appreciate them. Apps that I use Housecall Pro. I use the Blue On app. That's a very helpful app for the people that don't know. A lot of stuff I actually like to do by hand, like my duct sizing and whatnot. I actually like to do that by hand. Lightning bolt, they're hard to come by these days. Trust me. What's the page? The YouTube channel is HVAC Tips, HVAC _ tips Logan. I'm in Arkansas. Yeah, I've made a lot of friends all throughout the country, and I'm curious if anyone out there is going to the next AHR. I will be there. So I went to the one in Atlanta 2 years ago. I went to the one in Chicago this past year, and I'll be going to Orlando also. So just keep that in mind that I'll be there. I'm out here, brother. Keep posting. You get back on the top on TikTok. Hey, Logan, I appreciate you, man. You always show me some love and support. Thank you. I appreciate you, brother. Of course, I got the light, Lucas. Lucas, if you're still here, man, I'll show you the inside of the light. This is what the prop look like. If you can't answer, but what's your price per ton on new construction? That's what it looks like in there. I just bubble wrapped the inside of it, and and we had a few different lights in there. Adam Brown, I'll tell you, that's not. It is pretty wild. Adam, I don't do jobs like that, and I would advise you not to do it as well. That's a race to the bottom, and the way that I do it is I literally look at every job different. So I do all different types of duct. I do everything from duct board and flex branches, hard pipe, hard branches, like metal plenums, some duct board plenums, spray foam duct work. Like I do a lot of different stuff, and I really don't try to do that because sometimes I'll use a 4-inch filter, sometimes I won't, sometimes I use stamp face grills, and I don't want to, hey John, I don't like to get into the practice of just doing it by the tonnage. And a lot of times that, if you had a spray foam house, for example, that house, you're going to be able to put a smaller unit in it. But by doing that, you're going to have longer runs of duct. So you would actually lose money in comparison to do a spray foam house. So that's one of the reasons why I don't do that. What I would advise you to do is I would advise you to get a new construction sheet that says all the material, and you could go through after you do your duct calculations, and you could just mark off, well, I need this amount of pipe, this amount of this and this, and then you could actually get your material list that way, and make sure that you make your margins, man, because no one cares if you lose money except me. You know what I mean? I'm trying to help you out. No one else really cares about it. John Crawford. I'll have to look at that, John. If I try to look at it right now, it kind of it might mess it up, but I will look at that. I actually have someone else that said something similar to that one time, locally. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, it's been an interesting deal. I do a lot of new construction though. Does anyone else do new construction? 10-4 area is all price per ton on new construction. Adam, I can assure you, there's a lot of people that do that. And look, that's what they ask me. A lot of times that's what they used to ask me. They say, how much do you charge per ton? How much is it per ton? And then when you explain the process to them, and by explaining that process to them, you allow them to see that you're very thorough, and you typically won't get those objections anymore. A lot of times that you get those objections is because you have done that so much that you have said, this is my price per ton. All your references are telling all your customers are telling their reference, hey, yeah, he does it by tonnage. So you want to try to get away from that if you can. Hey, James, new construction is bid per job. Gather a material list and quote it up. That is exactly right. James does a lot of good work too. Very nice and clean work. How much can you make in this career? A fortune. You can make a fortune. You should be able to make enough to eat steaks and do everything else that you would like to do. Don't sell yourself short, man. Builders just want the cheapest. Yeah, and like I said before, if you think a good HVAC contractor or technician is expensive, you should try Batwin. I do a lot of steel-built houses, rough ends. One thing about houses on steel is they require more air conditioning. I know a lot of homes that they do 2 inches of closed cell spray foam underneath the house, but that still doesn't make it adequate compared to a house sitting on a slab. So you still got to add some extra tonnage there. Price per ton is crazy. Most houses are not the same. Yeah, that's one of those old rule of thumbs that I just don't agree with. I can tell y'all that I don't know. We did a to give you an idea of how different a price is, because someone was asking about price. We did a 5-ton house, and it was like $17,000. Now you go do another house and they want different things, it could be a different price. And for whatever reason, we've had a lot of odd houses here lately. Like we've had barn dominiums that had spiral pipe, and inlaid grills. You guys saw, man. Hey, man, I got a lot of videos out there, and I appreciate all the support from everybody. A lot of times I make videos, and y'all are seeing these videos, and it's really odd, man, because I made videos for years now, and sometimes I meet people out in public, and they have a preconceived notion of who you actually are. In my professional life, I enjoy making these videos, but don't think like I'm not on top of my game as far as my pricing and as far as my work and everything else. Like I really enjoy making these videos, and but like my goal is to be like a top-notch contractor. We just did a barn home. Yeah. It's really crazy that we got like multiple things going on right here. I'm just looking back and forth. Recreate the Drake video. Which one? It was definitely different. Yeah, the barn dominium builds, they're just they're pretty wild. This one had like spiral ducking. It's kind of unusual. It's exposed, of course, and they had like custom inlaid grills in it. I say inlaid because you got the box style and all that, but they wanted a certain particular grill. Man, I don't know why everyone's upset about Android. You know what I mean? Like, man, I hate to tell y'all, but I gotta be honest. Android stuff is just better. I mean, iPhone. You know what? to be, I'll be fair with y'all. Okay, um, maybe iPhones were better originally, but the new stuff that's out, man, is just like, I mean, the zoom on the cameras and stuff is just like people get a new iPhone, they're like, wow, and it's like, you think that feature's great? We got it 2 phones ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hate to tell you. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Android. What's up, Brian? I don't know if it keeps going in and out. Hey, Joey, I see you over there, man. You like Android or you like the iPhone? James, y'all been staying real busy out there? What bubble wrap you use? Android's definitely the best. Bubble wrap. Listen, man, the two bubble wrap companies out there is CoverTech and they got Reflectix, and they're forming one company. So I've been speaking with them, and I'm trying to work something with them because I really like the product. I think it's really great, man. Get away from that fiberglass. And fiberglass is just bad for a lot of different reasons. I try to keep it to a minimum. Even though some of the new duckboard is not like the old duckboard, they got it's just a lot better glue or something in it. I don't know, but it doesn't have as much uh, in the duct stream, I should say. Ain't been much downtime at all. Same R value as wrap. So Dean, you can get them all in different ways. You can get depending on how you wrap the pipe. They have a very detailed instructions how you can get R6, R8, or whatever. Chad, I'm over in South Mississippi. We got 167 people in here. That's pretty sweet, man. If y'all like, hit the like and follow. Any kind of HVAC related questions? Maybe you have. Maybe not everyone here is from HVAC world, and maybe you're just a homeowner. You got a question. Maybe someone told you something about your HVAC unit, and you're just trying to see if they're trying to scam you or something. Um, HVAC tech owner, 17 years here. Eric, man, I keep missing you, brother. Why? I just, like I was saying earlier, I used to get on here a lot, and I'm just trying to get back into it again. But I miss seeing Eric and Danny. HVAC mom used to get on here. I used to have a real good time, and yeah, kind of wanting to try to bubble wrap. Don't think nothing else about it. Just do it. You'll love it. I promise. What does the bubble wrap really have the R value a duck has? Does it not sweat? It really don't sweat, man. I don't know why people think that, but I've never had that issue at all, and I've done dozens and dozens of houses with it. Thoughts on beef sticks? And I guess you're talking about some kind of like Slim Jim or something. I don't know. Uh, I like beef jerky if that's what you're asking. Hey man, I appreciate those roses. I'd probably do the NPC challenge. I'd probably do that. Thank you for the rose. Thank uh, I seen one guy jump out just when they sent him a galaxy. He jumped out the screen. He's like, and then he jumped back around on the other side. Thought that was real creative. What's the cost difference in South Texas? I'm sure it's similar price. Actually, it's not. So I am familiar with the Texas market a little bit. I've had some dealings with some of the Texas contractors, and apparently they do work really cheap over there. I had a situation one time where a Texas contractor wanted to come over here and collaborate on a different project in Alabama. But one thing I can tell you about Alabama is it's not Texas. Alabama does not play that game. The spray foam is very, very labor intensive. That is true. I think my favorite is bubble wrap at this point, but this particular house, that's what it is. So that's what we're doing. Um, I can tell y'all right now, if you're in Texas, don't ever try to run game over here close to Alabama because that's not the place. Uh, oh, duck wrap and bubble wrap. It's pretty similar in cost. I think it may be 10 or 15% more, but it's roughly about that. Shout out to the people over here on YouTube. I see you. There's so many cheap chucks in the truck here in Myrtle Beach. Gives us good companies a bad rap. It's very difficult. That I agree with when you're competing against that type of stuff. But you really have to kind of differentiate yourself. Like, what are you, what are you teaching the market? I got 12,500 YouTubers, Eric. Let me tell y'all something. If you're in this business and you give someone a price, that person, when they give a reference, is going to tell that price to them. So you're going to struggle to get that work because you keep selling yourself short. And you're trying to figure out, why can't I get a higher price? Well, it's because everyone that is giving reference to you is saying, yeah, he did it for this for me. He did it for this for me. And now you can't afford to miss a job because you keep underbidding them. When you're trying to build up your money reserve. And in order to do that, you can't charge the absolute minimum. You have to have some money there, man. You have to be making money. You don't want every job. You want to get half of them. You don't want to do it too cheap, but you don't want to do it too expensive either because you ain't going to get to work. I don't know. I guess that's his name, I guess.
I guess.
All I want is installs. I can make 4K profit. I'm good. The easiest way to get a lot of installs is just do a lot of service. Those service work converts to installs. Whatever you do right now is going to convert to a lot of that already. So, like, if you do a lot of maintenance, it's going to convert to a lot of maintenance. If you do a lot, and really vice versa. The hardest part, the cost of acquisition of a customer is very expensive. What's one job you won't absolutely do on a call? This is going to be my last spray foam duct work, I think. It's just very labor intensive. I enjoy the bubble wrap so much now. It's a game changer for me. Actually, we have been installing a lot of mini splits. I think we've installed about 30 in the past, month. Brands that are the best. So I would say this, as far as a contractor goes, contractors are going to look at what they're compensating the contractor for. So there's different programs out there, whether it's Ring, Carrier, Train, whoever, they're going to have some kind of rewards program for them. I don't know if you're a contractor or if you're an HVAC guy or what, a homeowner. But they all have similar parts. Like most of them, you'd want a Copeland compressor, for example. The one that I put in Ream because I feel like it's a good value for the money. But there's things I like about Ream, and there's things that I like about others. I'll give you an example. Ream has, on a 5-ton, when you look at the blower performance data, it actually provides less airflow than a Goodman. And some people stand by Goodman, and some people stand by Ream. One thing I like about Ream though is Ream has shorter units, so it's easier if you're doing a change out to just swap them out that way. Well, that's the way you start, Lewis. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, as a guy that's been in the business for quite a while, I'm here to kind of help others. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm competing for work too, but I think I do us all a favor by talking about the business side as well. You know, like it's all in the initial install process. I greatly agree with that. The install process is a big to do. So, like some of the things that I see. See you later, Eric. I appreciate you, buddy. Good to hear from you. Um, um, like for installs, most problems I see with installs come with drains, come from wiring, come from undersized ductwork. Those things in particular. Undersized ductwork will tear a compressor up. You know, if it don't happen the first day, a lot of times it's not going to happen the first day, but it will over time do that. But you're also shorting your. If you can't get air into the unit, you can't get air out of the unit. So you're doing yourself an injustice. Not pulling a vacuum. It don't really happen on my company, but I do know that that happens a pretty good bit, and you need to pull it down to 500 microns and hold it under 1,000. Yeah, that's something that you know, running nitrogen is another big to do. You know, a lot of problems with TXVs and reversing valves and that type of thing is uh, all that stuff is from oxidation inside the pipe when you're brazing without nitrogen, and that stuff gets trapped inside TXVs, reversing valves, and all that type of stuff. Um, what is the local one that we have used is they have one called Santa Fe. I don't necessarily know how it ranks amongst all the dehumidifiers, but we've never had an issue with them. So I like Ream's small roof footprint, but I like to see a lot of the same issues with bad defrost boards. I don't know. I haven't really seen a lot of really bad defrost boards. Some of the things I've seen is like um, TXVs actually. So that's one of the things that kind of get at me a little bit, particularly on their heat pumps and pressure switches. I haven't really had too many issues with pressure switches. Although I will say that sometimes if a system leaks and you can't find it, you could actually check the wire side of the pressure switch. Sometimes they leak through the wire to the end, like where it plugs into the board or something like that. Sometimes they can leak through there. It's really crazy. A lot of it's like hard to find that. Like if you've never seen it before, that'd be hard to find. I don't think they get that bad at either. But it just depends, I guess, maybe on the humidity and all that type of stuff. Sometimes carbon tracking and dust and stuff like that. There's a lot of A2L stuff that's coming out, and I'm not a big fan of that. The factory braze joint on the switch itself, yeah. A lot of times they put them in a weird place where it's like it's going to rub against something, or I never really understood that. Like they don't make them more robust. I guess if I was to design my own unit, that's something that I would do. y'all don't mind, y'all could hit the follow button. Help me get my followers back. I was up to almost like 36,000, 37,000, something crazy. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for hitting that. Has anyone heard of Cooper and Hunter? Anyone heard of that brand? Apparently, one of the things that they're going to have is they're going to have a really easy to pull blower motor. So the blower simply will be really easy to pull out. There won't be nothing in the front of it. It'll just slide in and out.
It's all about his tuna.
Yeah, I was looking at their stuff too. Man, we just don't see a lot of Linux here. It's kind of crazy. There's one Linux distributor locally, and just never really had to deal with them, to be honest with you. I guess there's just not a lot of them being put in. That's mean. Maybe they do. I'm sitting on my foot. What's up, Corey? What is up, man? Trying to get back into getting all my followers and stuff, man. I've been really hesitant about getting on live, but I'm just going to be extremely careful about what I say on here. Do you install Mitsubishi mini splits, or do you like them? For the longest time, Mitsubishi mini splits was considered like the gold standard, and it seems like now Daikin has really started taking over. Like everywhere, Daikin. I don't see Gree, I don't see Fujitsu, I don't see LG, I see Daikin, and that's all I see really. I will say this: Pioneer has some mini splits that are pretty sweet. Like for a new construction purpose, they will fit between the joists, and you can hit the button on your remote, and it will winch down the filter. So you can just grab it, push the button after you wash it, and it will winch it back up to the ceiling. I thought that was fancy, boy. I don't have anything against Bryant mini splits. I just seen most of the people putting in Daikin. Don't have anything against them. New seat. I put a Pioneer in for a buddy like 7 years ago as a fair. It had a leaky coil, but still trucking. Yeah, I met the reps down there in Chicago, or up there in Chicago. I guess they was out of Miami, and it seemed like pretty good guys. HVAC's a good trade, man. You get to bounce around a little bit. You don't have to just sit in one place. I used to work at a shipyard, and we was there the whole day. You know what I mean? It was just, with HVAC, you can kind of go different places. How do you run a common wire when they don't have a common wire? Some of them have you could just run a whole nother wire in general, which is probably the most easiest thing to do. But some thermostats and stuff have like a little box to come with it to make it work. How do you feel about two-stage equipment? I would install one in my home, more stuff to break. I actually really like two-stage equipment. It just is what it is. Copeland makes some really good compressors, and they come out with some new technology. There's a guy on here, Love to HVAC. He makes some really great videos about it. I'd highly recommend y'all follow him as well. Thoughts on Linux communicating systems? Man, I really don't. To be honest with you, I just don't see Linux here. Like, I don't have any issue with communicating systems or non-communicating systems. I've worked with a lot of Ring units, and some of them's got the Bluetooth now, which they've been had it on there, but now you can update it on the actual job, job site. Sorry, I meant when the unit does come with a common wire. What was your question about the common wire, Ryan? Check out the power. Power program at Northwest Community College. That's a great deal. What do you think about the new refrigerant that might hit the market? So there's two of them that's going to hit the market, and they're both really, really similar. And what it boiled down to is one of them was patented, I wanted to say by Goodman or somebody, and everyone was like, well, we don't want to use that because if Goodman has it, we'll just use our own little blend. And both of them, the secret to zoning installs, man, there's no secret. What do you have a question about it? It seems all pretty straightforward to me. Um, I believe they're actually still going to use 410A style TXVs. So I live basically on the Alabama-Tennessee line, and I saw no Linux, but Nashville is full of them. What would be the reason my car AC does not blow cold? You probably don't have refrigerant. Your compressor is probably not kicking on because it has a low pressure switch, and it's probably shut it off. Probably just need to add some more. Yeah, I live close to Alabama. I live about 30 minutes away. How do you do zoning? Stages or modulating? I guess modulating. You get a panel and it's zoned, so you get different stats, and then it just opens up a bypass damper, and you have a bypass damper, and then you have dampers that close into each zone, so that way you can, if it's cooled one zone down, it just throws it back into the return. There's nothing that's really difficult about it. John, I see a. I don't think we're looking at the same photo. Maybe. Any experience with Bosch? I spoke with Bosch reps. I like the idea of them having a small amount of SKUs, so that way it's, you can put one type of system in or two type of systems in, 3-ton and a 5-ton. I like the idea of it, but they're just not really close to me. They're like a 50-minute drive, and it's kind of like 50 minutes in one direction, and most of my jobs are like 50 minutes in a different direction. Yeah, but you can be very, yeah, but that can be very expensive. It can be very expensive to do a zoning system. I don't particularly like to do that, but some people actually prefer it. So I prefer to put it in a separate system because, in my opinion, you're just working that system twice as much. Eventually, it's gonna fail. So, bro, it's literally you.
They're like photoshopping your photo or something.
Yeah. Well, that's a different photo, John. Hey, we look like twin. We look like the same person. Click on. Do you do any mini split work? We put in about 30 of them here in the past month or so. Wouldn't you want your wife to be happy? I'm sure she'd be ecstatic if you bought her something. VRF is the way to go before zoning. VRF is the next level up. I'd like to actually get into VRF. I had an opportunity to do a project, but I didn't get the certification in time. I don't know, man. I don't know how I could ignore my twin. It is pretty crazy. I just can't click on on the profile photo because I think it might take me out of the live. How do you get a common wire from a unit that doesn't come with a common wire? For example, most wall mount. I don't understand. Are you talking about like a mini split? Because most mini split only has 3 different wires to go in. I appreciate it, Dean. If y'all don't mind, hit the like and follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, my wife is my sister. Thank you. They have zone boards that will only allow certain stages based on how many thermostats are calling. To be honest with you, I don't have an issue with them, but I don't. I would steer my customer away from them. You know, if they just gotta have it, they gotta have it. You like zones, James? And what applications do you like on the most? LeBron James. All right. See, I never really been a big fan of them. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 people in the area that I noticed got them, and they didn't have no one in the area that could work on them. Yes, I actually did go to college. I went to school for business management, and I went to school for occupational education, heating, venting, air conditioning, and refrigeration. James, where are you from? It is a lot of work. Virginia? I got some friends out there. I'm live streaming on multiple platforms right now, and I got a couple friends out there that's actually. I don't know the name of their company. I wish I did. I'd tell you what it is. Most VRF is basically big mini splits, in my opinion. Once you get the controls down, it's easy, simple. The thing I don't like about VRS is you get all these special fittings, but I would like to get more involved in it, and you have to make sure they're all set up like extremely perfect. So I wish they'd make the system a little bit more forgiving, if that's the thing. James, how long you been in the trade? I'm sensing bread in your kitchen. You know, would it be nice to eat with bread? Peanut butter and jelly. Never did grow up. That's how I stay so good looking. Been wanting to talk to you. Yeah, of course, man. I do live stream. I started out on TikTok, and I do live streams. I did a lot on TikTok, but I branched out into YouTube, and I'll be doing a lot more soon. You know, I've been in the trade 17 years now. I got a license in Mississippi, Alabama, residential, commercial, master certification, ICC. What's your favorite thermostat? Everyone around here use Pro One. You enjoy it? You enjoy doing HVAC, James? I'm getting into the boiler chiller side too. The part gets wild. I'd like to do that too. I just haven't had the opportunity. One time, I was able to actually, when I was working, trying to hire on for other people. I really appreciate that, James. I put a lot of work and a lot of effort into doing those videos. Like, and you know, when you're posting work on the internet, you just know it's going to get hammered. So I put a lot of effort into making sure everything looks real nice and clean. I appreciate it, user 428-165-0035-820. I don't know the name, man, but hey, I really do appreciate that. I put a lot of effort into stuff. I like Ecobee. In my house right now, it's got an Ecobee. My studies have shown that PBJ. Maybe it is. Yeah, I do. I try to put a lot of effort into it. You know, I know going in, you know, I post a lot of my install videos and my new construction. For me, it's almost a form of artwork. I don't see any Nexia stats. Um, and you know, every house is different. Sometimes you don't really have an opportunity because of people's budgets and whatnot. But um, 4-inch media filters, 5-inch media filters, 30 by 30 returns with stamp faces. It's kind of my signature type stuff. Nick, that's a 2 to 5 tons. We do a lot of 2 to 5 ton units. You do any offshore fishing? I have before, Todd, and I would love to go, man. I hope to the good man above that you're somewhere close to me and you'll let me get on that boat. I do. So all right, Nick, I want to um I've worked the biggest units I worked on is a 40 ton and a 20 ton here recently. They're industrial units for emergency response. Nick, I do want to address what you said. MERV 8. So the problem is most people don't size their ductwork correctly. You can actually run a very high rated MERV filter if you size the duct correctly. I can go into that. It's very extensive. It's about pressure drops across your your return grill, your filter, your coil while it's wet, any indoor air quality stuff, your dampers, and your supply grills. You can size everything appropriately to do that. I promise you, I'll make a video about it. Is all you have to do is send me a message about it. Break Y, break R. Break R because most stuff is going to two stage and it's just a lot easier. And they say, hey, my thermostat ain't working. Well, it's a drain switch. What's your favorite fish? Uh, t- it ain't that. I'm from Nashville. I have a boat in Appalachia, Apalachicola. Yeah. Um, we was actually in Tennessee this past winter. I like Tennessee. Um, yeah, 10 tons, man. That's a big unit. Actually, we don't often work on anything bigger than 10. Sometimes you see a 12 and a half. Yes, I do. I do refrigeration work as well. Um, if there was a sales tactic, because if a customer, there was a sale tactic, because if a customer, oil and gas, 86. Um, where is it located? Oil and gas. Haven't put anything bigger than a 5 ton in 7, 8 years. Do you do residential, James? I'll have her. I'll have. Okay, that'd be no problem. So they have to call a tech. If the drainage should be right, wow, and search it. Yeah, we go to Gulfport. Um, we're to be honest with you, not James, oil and gas. It may be a couple days before we could get to it. We got two changeouts to do tomorrow, and we got to finish up a new construction the following day. But possibly toward the end of the week. I don't know if that would fit, but I don't want to tell you anything different, man. I just want to be honest with you. I'm a service tech, and I just got promoted to doing estimates. Any tips on closing jobs? Yeah, if you want to sell, if you really want to sell jobs, let me tell you all a little tip. So you want to be thorough. You want to explain everything. The first thing is you want to dress like you know what you're talking about. If you look like a scrub when you get there, hey, they're going to, take you at your appearance. So you need to dress like a professional if you're a professional. Always be nice, courteous, and polite. Demonstrate your authority by knowledge. Give them options because if you only give them one option, then they have no other choice. If they can't fit it in their budget or they can't get the financing, then what else are they left to do? You want to demonstrate you as the guy to use and demonstrate different options for them to select from. So that way, regardless of their budget, they got the right contractor. They just need to pick the right choice that they want. Whenever I leave the job, typically what I do is I'll say, is there any questions, comments, or concerns about anything that we spoke about here? They'll see that you've done this hundreds and hundreds of times, and they will know that they got the right guy. It may seem like a little detail, but understand that a whole bunch of little details paints a portrait. So if you're trying to paint a picture, an artist is going to look at just a little bitty brushstroke, a little bitty brushstroke here, a little bitty brushstroke there, and he's going to see all the brushstrokes. If you're not an artist and you don't understand that it's just a process, what you're going to see is just a portrait. You need to perfect your approach to selling. That way you can convert more jobs. I haven't put anything bigger, but I'm putting in two 5-ton sisters together in a church right now. We do a couple of different churches, and we've had to twin a couple of them together. Sometimes that can be difficult and aggravating, but sometimes we just get a bigger transformer. Which refrigerant are you using in all R22 equipment? I would highly suggest that you use Blue On. Other ones have other issues. Everyone has their pros and cons, but Blue On seems to be the best one that fits for us. How much for R22? Fortune. Fortune. I think a drum of R22 right now is about $1,300. Do you know Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior? Yes, thank you, Dale. Right, thanks. Um, It's furnaces, and I got to take fresh air and exhaust 5 pipes out from the center of the church center block and red brick walls. Man, that seems like a lot of work to do that. Um, we got on the foam house that we're doing right now is foam ductwork and the house is foam, so it's kind of like it's over the top. You know what I mean? Uh, the thing about that I struggle with the foam is that it's very labor intensive. It doesn't look as clean, even though it functions better. But um, you also have to bring in fresh air on any foam houses. We're not going to install an ERV. Most of the people wouldn't even know what that is around here, but I do know it's an energy recovery ventilator, and we have installed them on commercial buildings. But most residential applications, they're not even going to know what you're talking about, and they're going to think you're ripping them off. Unfortunately, that's just the case. I could try to educate them, but typically I'm already higher than most people's budgets, and if I go up any higher than that, I'm probably going to lose the job. So typically, what I do is I put in a small amount of fresh air with a damper, so that way I can regulate how much air comes into the structure. Um, I seen that. How big do you bring your fresh air to the return? Typically, what I'll do is on a smaller unit, I'll bring like a 3 or 4 inch. On a bigger unit, I'll bring up to a 5 inch, and then I just put a regular damper on it, just a regular manual damper. And sometimes it requires a little fine tuning because of the humidity levels here in the south, but it's not too big of an issue. You just want something to keep the air moving, that isn't stale. They're not super critical with it over here in Mississippi, but in Alabama they'll come and they'll do a test on it, see how much you're pulling in and everything. What's the most I can D-Rod? There's a lot of different ways to go about it. There's different companies have different pay schedules. Some people pay commissions, and you could possibly make a lot of money doing that. Some places don't pay commissions, but they pay pretty good hourly to incentivize you to from selling stuff that doesn't need to be needed. So certain individuals may not want to call a company that they know that the service techs are getting paid commission because they're incentivized to sell. Hey James, I'd love to keep it going, guys, but it looks like I'm at 2% on this phone and it's fixing to cut out. So I ask that y'all like and follow, man. And if y'all have videos that y'all like me to create, troubleshooting, skits, or anything like that, just send them to me, what you'd like to see, and I'll make that video for you. But as for right now, guys, I'm out.